A device that produces via coaxial cylinders electromagnetic field of high enough intensity to break down or force formally forbidden beta, alpha, or gamma reactions. That is, radioactive decay of materials not normally able to decay, and thus also increasing or making haste, quickening the half lives of those products, those materials that do decay and are known to be radioactive. The second stage being the capturing of these released materials via alpha, beta, or gamma voltaic cells to then produce energy, that is electricity, that can be stored or used. It is possible to produce theoretically very large amounts of electricity, enough to begin the process of innovation in electric propulsion of rockets. The technology may be known as radioisotopic batteries, nuclear batteries, radiovoltaic technology, or its smaller versions, alpha, beta, or gamma voltaic technology. In terms of actual propulsion of rockets, which require something to do work against, that is a work fluid, there would be provision of an electromagnetic field around the rocket or spacecraft in such a way to create a thin film of some atomic materials, that is, some particles that are actually tangible, that the electricity released can do work against. The electromagnetic field would be required to travel with the machinery, that is the rocket or the spacecraft, at a sufficient distance around the spacecraft, or at the very least at the bottom beneath the engines themselves, enough to create a wall of something tangible, something mass like, weighty, that the actual electricity can do work against in itself, rather, which would be air, but a more dense wall of air or of particles would be a better fit for electric propulsion. Essentially, the design is a nuclear propulsive device in very early stages of design and innovation, and it will be made. I'm halfway to the initial chassis has been made, and perhaps I'll take a photograph of that, a video to put it up here, and continue on as the development does progress. And as new ideas come, perhaps replacing the initial idea with something else. The radioactive process is actually a radioactive decay chain. That is, the process is not one single cycle, but continuous cycles that change an element from one element to another type of element that also goes through radioactive decay to produce whatever form of particle or energy that it would release, and then so and forth, continuously until an end point set by the actual designers, myself. Such end point theoretically could be at the production of such low electric, that is elemental weight elements such as oxygen or phosphorus or potassium, such that the waste product produced would be beneficial products. Actually, its idea would be taking nuclear products, nuclear waste, using it to produce electricity for propulsion, and the secondary stage of running the process until something even more useful is produced from the waste elements themselves. That would be the end point. Perhaps it would have implications in the climate change battle by releasing oxygen, a much needed element in our day-to-day, or in production of other types of materials such as not silicone but semiconductor type materials, which are quite rare, but theoretically speaking, which could be produced and extruded via decay chain cycles of relevant elemental materials, enough that eventually useful products could be the waste product. Perhaps the useful products such as silicone and germanium would mean that less electricity is produced, because they stop this to extract them is to stop the cycle at a much earlier stage of electricity or of decay production, that is radioactive decay production. But that still remains to be seen. It is possible to extract a little bit and then allow the reaction to go on, that is to extract 20% from a particular source material, and then allow 80% of the reaction to run, producing radioisotopes and their radioactive particles, which can then be harnessed or harvested for electricity production. That is a thought for as an advanced stage of the device production. It's essentially after the device has been produced, not yet.